Welcome to Imola, the spiritual home of Ferrari. But you don't need me to tell you that. Just look at the red-clad tifosi in the grandstands. They're ready. Are you ready? For the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. 3.1 miles of track at Imola featuring 19 turns, 9 to the right and 10 to the left. Remember that Imola differs from most other Formula One tracks as it's taken anti-clockwise. Let's hope nobody forgets that today. The exit from turn 18 will probably be the setup for many of today's overtakes, leading as it does into the longest straight on the circuit, and it's only DRS zone. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Kobayashi lines up on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, Russell, Sainz, Perez, Hamilton, Gasly, Stroll, Ocon, Albon, Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso, Hülkenberg, Riccardo, Zhou, Sargent, Bottas, the captain, and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Welcome to Driving Immersion for the immersive racing experience. If this is your first time here, we drive full-length races without assists and in full simulation, from the driver's cockpit with a force feedback wheel and pedal set. If you enjoy the racing here at Driving Immersion, give us a like and subscribe. It helps us reach other race fans like you. In addition, you'll be notified when the next race is available. Our content is on Facebook in HD and on YouTube in Ultra HD. Upcoming races usually premiere on Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. This weekend we're in Italy at the Imola race circuit, and for many years named as the San Marino Grand Prix, and other times known as the Italian Grand Prix. With its return in 2020, it is known as the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. It is also considered the home of the Italian Ferrari race team, and is named after the founder of Ferrari, Enzo Ferrari. This track is just over 3 miles long and is run counterclockwise. Imola opens its doors in 1953, and with the most recent configuration has 19 turns.
We're at the back, but give it 100% and we can still come away with a decent result. I believe in you. Come on.
Yes, we are starting at the very back here at the race at Imola. Very bad qualifying. We just couldn't get the car down as far as speed. Here is our strategy. We're going to go with a one-stop, starting off with a set of the mediums. And we're adjusting it here to see if we can go faster by just a few seconds by changing earlier or later. And we're going to end up just going with the original plan, changing at lap 28, and we are reducing our fuel load just to 1.5 laps of extra fuel. Here's our setup. Again, we are changing it because of a little bit of rain during the race. And you can pause the video to check it out if you want to use it. Again, we're not very fast with this car on this track, so it may not be the best setup. But the car does drive actually pretty well and very controllably. In fact, through the practice sessions, we are achieving the highest speed at the speed traps. So it may be very fast, or it may just not have enough wing. But have a look at the race and let us know what you think.
Good, but we need to learn the gears. So go into each one when you can. We're going to need some work on the brakes, so put some energy into them and warm the tyres as well, please.
So down through the pit straight, through turn 1. The first left is turn 2, then turn 3 to the right, turn 4 again. Here is turn 5, and this is turn 6 to the right. Turn 7 here, very much like a hairpin.
Okay, radar is clear, weather is looking good for now.
Again, we're going to be going uphill, but not too much problem with traction here. And then turn 8 is going to be right underneath this banner. It's a very slight turn to the right. Turn 9 to the left here, and we're going to bring the car down to 5th gear. Turn 10, again, a very slight kink to the left. Turn 11 here to the right. Turn 12, very sharp right-hander. Over the apron on the left, which is turn 13. Turn 14, a right turn into the chicane with a very big sausage curve on the right and the left, which is turn 15. And then we're going to cross the DRS detection zone. Turn right here under the banner. That's turn 16. Slow down for a left turn into turn 17. Another left into turn 18. And then turn 19 here at the entrance to the pits. Again, the DRS zone. Very slight turn to the right as we approach the grid box. Again, we are P21 of 22 at the very back of the grid. I believe Magnussen had a penalty at the start, maybe changing something on the car. So when the lights go out, the race is on. Here we go. Looks like an easy start for everyone. There is Magnussen coming around to our right. And as we are in the very back of the race, we are just going to take it easy and be careful not to get into any collisions as everybody's darting around here at the start. Looking back from Magnussen's car, that is the 66. Uphill onto turn 8. Ride the curves on turn 9. Turn 12 and 13.
That start was okay. Now stay alert for threats around you.
And then the very quick chicane here at 14 and 15. And we are going to commonly be on the aprons here to the right as we exit 15. Trying to keep as much speed as we can going through there.
DRS is being enabled this lap.
And here we start
DRS
lap 2.
You're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Big lock up there.
DRS now active. Somebody's got a very big lock up there, and that is going to be Logan Sargent in the Williams.
You might experience some understeer now that you're in the wake of the car ahead. Try to get past as soon as possible.
Back from the Williams and Logan Sargent, we are entering turn 11 and 12 and 13. Here the number 66 dives in through 14 and 15. Very hard thing to do as the chicane comes very quickly. And the important thing about that chicane is the exit, which is going to lead you down this straight to the right onto 16, 17, 18. Crossing the start-finish line again to start the next lap. We've got a very good look on Zhou.
That Daniel Riccardo shut the door on me? And Bottas kept back around our show.
Come on, you can win that place back.
Actually, that was not Daniel Ricciardo, that is Yuki Tsunoda. And he did a very evasive thing, like shutting the door, and that let Guan Yu Zhou back in front of the number 66. Having a look above through 13. And then there's a chicane of 14 and 15. You can see everybody riding the very tall curbs. And here we have a very good look again on Zhou. And this time we are able to squeeze him out. car here to the left.
Okay,
Somebody's
clear.
out.
And that is going to be the end of Charles
Charles
Leclerc
Leclerc.
in the Ferrari. Major engine problem there. This is the race where we actually changed the engine on the number 66 as the wear rate was more than 70%, and I believe that may be the problem here at Imola, as we are not able to go as fast as everyone else. In fact, our teammate qualified on pole and is at the front of the race, so he may not have changed his engine, but his car is definitely very fast and certainly faster than ours. I think at the start of the race it showed that we were 2.67 seconds behind the lead. So the number 66 here is definitely off pace. But right now we're doing pretty well, keeping up with the back of the grid. And here we are down the main straight again through the DRS zone. And you can see there that we did not have our wing open. I think we were just too far at the DRS detection zone. So this should be Yuki Tsunoda that we are riding with.
No damage indicated.
On board with the 66, we took a look at the chicane and made a better
That
choice.
is Tsunoda. He shut the door on me as well.
So you got to see there that he briefly moved over to his left to
Using
close
all
the
of
door
the apron on the right.
so that we couldn't try to sneak into the chicane. And you'll see throughout the race that the AI is actually pretty good. There he is again, just making sure that we can't sneak in. Again, and through 9 here to the left. Turn 10 actually falls away, but you can accelerate out through turn 11 here, turn 12, and then turn 13 here. We're going to be completely on the apron. Brake very hard here in the 14 and 15, and we tried experimenting with touching the curbs on the entry and on the exit. But now in the early stages of the race, we can use our DRS to get by some of these cars in the back. And here we are with the beep. DRS is on, and we're going to use our ERS as well. This is Valtteri now in front of us. And it happens again. He checks us up, and you can see there that Yuki Tsunoda gets back in front. The view from Valtteri's rear wing, very wide through 12 for the 66. And this time around, we're going to dive again through 14 and 15, very high on the curb.
Okay, good work. Great.
Very risky, had to do it.
Now we get to deal with Yuki Tsunoda again. And again, we should have the DRS on him through the main straight here. His teammate Daniel Riccardo just ahead. There we are, rear wing open. And so is Tsunoda. And you can see Riccardo also has the rear wing open. But we're going to get only one of them through 1 and 2 here. So having a look around, it's very sunny right now on the track, but there is a period of rain that we expect through the weather forecast, and that is what we're concerned about with the one stop. But it's also one of the reasons why we added only a one stop, so that we could change into a set of wet or intermediate tires at the right time when these tires are just expiring.
Was that Riccardo?
So very close to Daniel Riccardo again through the chicane of 14 and 15. And through 16 here, we want to be close enough when we cross the DRS detection zones that we can activate ours. Here we are. DRS activated, ERS on. And we are wheel to wheel with Daniel Riccardo. He still has a chance to come around to the right. You can see the proximity arrow still in red. And big shunt there with the Haas. Again, no damage indicated. We have full simulation damage turned on. So it takes very little to break off a wing or an end plate. Watching the 66 as we come around
So too
to
deep
17.
there.
And you can have a look there at the rear wing. DRS is activated. That is one of the Williams just ahead of us. Turn 5 and 6. A little bit of a lock up there as we brake very hard. And we take a very dangerous move through 14 and 15 on the Williams.
Good job.
And you can see here that we are looking at our HUD for our brake bias because we lost our rear end on the very hard braking zone in the 14. And it actually started to come around us, and that's why we lost control through the chicane. But we came out in one piece, having a look at our tire temperatures as well. Now the rear tires are about 20 degrees hotter than the front tires, which means that we are accelerating a little bit too hard, putting more wear than we need to on the rear tires. At the same time, it may be that we didn't put enough air in the rear tires and they are heating up and wearing out sooner than we can predict. So it used to be with the Formula One game that if you reduce the pressure in the tire, you would have more grip, and heat didn't really affect it that much, but now it does. And in order to keep the tire cool, you need to have a little bit more air in there, usually 60 to 70% more than usual. And with tire pressures, we're usually about 26.5 to 27.5. And that leaves them relatively cool and less likely to wear sooner. Here we are behind Alonso in the Aston Martin. We're going to get him by turn 1 through the start-finish line. We are using our DRS and our ERS. We're having a look here at Esteban Ocon and Alpine. And we're not going to be able to make it as we come through 5. Turn 7 again, we were able to make up a little bit of distance on the braking zones. If you remember at the very start of the race, we tuned down our front sway bar. And that was in anticipation for the upcoming rain. We don't know how heavy it's going to be or how long it's going to be. But when there's weather or when there's slippery conditions, you'll want to reduce the sway bars or the springs. And that's just going to give you just a little bit more mechanical grip. So entering the straight again through turn 18 and 19. And with the DRS open, we're going to have another look at Fernando Alonso and the Aston Martin. We are nearly wheel to wheel, but there's just not enough room, and we're going to let him by again. Having a look at the HUD here, as there is an indicator, you can see here that the gearbox is 65 or 66% worn. It is our first gearbox for the season, and you can see here the combustion engine is 9%, which we just changed for this race. Looking back from Fernando Alonso at the 66, is this just about as fast as we can go for the race? That is the question, as we're going to try to get around Fernando again. Hopefully this time around, we are in the DRS zone. You can see the rear wings open. And we are on the outside to the right again. Very crowded, too wide. And he's going to win again. Coming in through 12 and 13. Very wide on the exit, nearly lost control. Jumping over the yellow curbs. 14 and 15. And this time we're going to take a dive on Fernando Alonso. And we're going to get by on 17 and 18. And as we cross the start-finish line, you can see here that we've got our DRS wing open. That is Oscar Piastri just ahead of us in the McLaren, with another Alpine just in front. So that is Pierre Gasly that we just got by. I don't know if he's having a hard time, but he lost to 2 cars in just a couple of turns. On board with Oscar Piastri, that is the 66 just behind, and having a look at the track around us, you can see that it is now overcast. Still pretty bright and no raindrops yet. Again, we do expect a period of light rain, but we don't know how it's going to change track conditions. Coming in through 17. Very difficult to pass here, but we've done it twice. Turn 19, crossing the start-finish line. We are in DRS, and Oscar Piastri does not have DRS, so we're going to get by just relatively easy.
Very deep on that one.
On board with Oscar Piastri, that is the 66 just ahead through turn 9. Turn 10. And if you look at the turns here, you can see the yellow curbs are perpendicular to the direction of the track, so they are very harmful to the car. Here, the very big sausage curbs of 14 and 15. And most of the curbs on the apron here are no problem. However, the ones marked yellow are a problem, and setting up the car, you'll have to make sure that you have just enough ground clearance to get through those without damaging the bottom of the car.
Good pace, you're catching the car in front by about a second a lap.
And that is Perez just in front in the Red Bull. We are about 5.5 seconds behind at this point. Looking back, we've got a short train of cars. We don't know if we're holding them up, but certainly no one's coming around to try and pass us. At this point of the race, we are in a points-paying position, so we're happy with the progress so far. And right now, looking back again, the concern is going to be the weather. And at this point, we have not reached out to the pit crew yet to change the strategy, as there's just not enough information to see how hard it's going to rain. Reminder again, if you're enjoying the race, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Through turn 1, very slight left-hander. Turn 2 and turn 3 with Oscar Piastri and the McLaren just behind us. There's turn 4, down to turn 5, to the right is 6. Very wide on the apron of turn 10, and you can see there that we lost traction riding over the curbs. Almost lost the car.
Okay, I'm seeing raindrops.
And looking at the time, you can see here that Sergio has put up about half a second, maybe 3/4 of a second, so we are going a little bit slower on this lap. And through the camera there, you can see a few raindrops falling now. As the moisture in the air increases, you can see the haze on the long view of the track. From the cockpit, you can definitely see the rain.
All of our tyre pressure data is currently reading 0. Assuming they still look inflated to you, we're going to guess that it's just a bad sensor. Shouldn't be anything to worry about.
So this has happened numerous times already with the tire pressure sensors. Again, really nothing to worry about. It has not affected any of the races that we've had with this issue. Again, raindrops starting to fall now.
Okay, gap to the car in front, 6.6 seconds.
And just like normal weather, the rain could be slow, it could be fast, but right now it is starting very slow. And we are on board with the McLaren watching the 66.
Got about 9 laps until the pit stop. These tires are actually doing pretty well.
On those slicks. These conditions are making the line a bit greasy, but we're still nowhere near the changeover point.
So usually the very start of the rain period will be very slippery with just a little bit of water on the course along with the rubber and grease. But once it starts raining heavily and washes the grease and rubber away, it becomes a little bit more grippy. But again, you can see here, lost traction again in the rear wheels. And there will be a point here very soon where we're going to have to start driving more carefully and just a little bit slower. Having a look at the HUD on the lower right of your screen, you can see that the rear tires are worn at about 20%. Front tires are 10 and 14, so we are putting too much work into the rear tires, just accelerating out. You can also see the temperature differences there, and it does correlate
We're keeping our distance on Sergio.
Temperature that the tires are going to wear, or that if there's a lot of wear, then certainly the temperatures are going to go up. The rear tire is about 20 or 30 degrees warmer than the fronts.
Okay, gap to the car ahead, 7.1 seconds.
Having a look from the driver's view now, you can see the rain coming down. And from the view of the helicopter, you can see that the air is thick with moisture. So definitely the rain is coming as we exit through 13. 14 and 15.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
Just lost traction, accelerating out.
So looking back on the 66, we've got a gap right now forming to the next car behind us, and I believe that is Fernando Alonso. or it could be Lance Stroll, but it's an Aston Martin for sure. On board again and looking at the tire wear of the rear tires. The left 20%, the right is 23%, and I think that is mainly due to the fact that this is a counterclockwise
Getting slick.
course. And as of yet, we have not found an occasion or a reason to vary the left and the right pressures yet. But again, this is an indication that you could, and you'd probably benefit if you did. And putting more air into the right rear than the left rear. So crossing the start-finish line on lap 23. Our pit stop is programmed for lap 28.
So the engine seems to run kind of flat, accelerating in fifth. Daniel Riccardo is out of the race.
Okay, here's the gap that we're trailing the car ahead by. 8.5 seconds.
Losing time.
More rain now through the camera. And you can see the Aston Martin right back to the wing of the number 66. And I believe that is Lance Stroll, as his helmet is primarily dark green. And I believe Alonso's is his familiar colors. So having a look back, you can see the other cars are a little bit further away now. I believe there's a race forming between Lance Stroll and Pierre Gasly, and I think that was out of the DRS zone where it all started. And I think Pierre Gasly may have gone around Lance Stroll just momentarily, but they are racing and they are slowing each other down.
Whoa!
Very big slide there coming in through 14.
Back tires are definitely worn. Move the brake bias up.
Conditions are tough, but bear with it. I don't think the track's ready for intermediates yet.
So we've got rain on the visor.
Cars are coming in.
And looking at the cars behind us, it looks like other cars may have come into the pits in anticipation of the weather. No way of knowing yet who's coming in the wet tires, whether they're in the intermediates or the full wets. Having a look at the track from the T-cam of the number 66. Again, turn 13 there on the left. Very short burst of speed here to the chicane. Very high curbs. The can see there that we kind of slid into 15 and totally missed the apex on 14. Turn 17.
Tyre condition still looking good.
On lap 26 of 63, looking at the timing, we are still in 8th place with Sergio Perez just 2.7 seconds in front, and he is slowing down just a little bit. Still making our way around the track. You can see the rain is falling. Not very heavy, there's no tire spray, and right now we are able to round the course with a set of the medium tires.
Still not a perfect situation, but I don't think we got cause to move on to a different tyre yet.
It is lap 26 and we're expected in on lap 28, and we are trying to judge the conditions right now to see if we can change this upcoming tires into intermediates. Definitely not enough rain right now for the full wets, unless it starts to fall faster, but you can see here that the sky is pretty light.
Okay, we've got to put up with losing time here. I think we'll make this up. Weather report.
So we are asking for the weather report, and it doesn't seem like our mic is working, or at least we're not able to communicate with the pit crew. Again, we are trying to judge the conditions here to see if we can change into a set of intermediates. We will be coming into
Weather report.
change into the second set of tires, and we're trying to make a decision whether we're going to go with
10 minutes left of this rain, then we think it's going to dry up. 10 minutes.
There we go. There's
seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
There's the report. So 10 minutes is not very long, and right now we are going to go with a set of the hard tires as originally planned. It doesn't look like it's going to rain much more than this, knowing that it's only going to be 10 more minutes of rain. And you can see here that we've certainly lost a lot of speed and time, especially to the cars behind us. And that is one of the Aston Martins, and I believe that McLaren is going to be Oscar Piastri, as he has stayed with us for most of the race.
Okay, the pit window's open, so let's box this lap. Box this lap.
There we are due in at the end of this lap. And we are going to endure this rain, however much it is.
And gap to the car in front, 11.9 seconds.
So a lot of losing traction through the acceleration points. Now at the end of the life of these tires.
Remember, box this lap. Keep an eye on your distance to the speed limit line as you approach, and make sure you don't speed.
So again, we're losing a lot of traction here, and we're deeply considering our choice to go with a set of the hard tires for our next tires. It's hard to judge if it's due to the worn tires or the slick conditions from the small amount of rain that's falling. So here we are coming into the pits, and you can see here that the Aston Martin and the McLaren have gone by. However, Further back, you can see other cars coming in, so they may be on similar or like strategies than ours.
Right, let's go. Come on.
Those are the hard tires.
Turning meant we had a slower than planned pit stop, I'm afraid.
And coming in from the pits, it continues to rain. We are again behind Zhou. And behind us you can see Fernando Alonso. I believe he is one of the cars that came in, along with Gasly, Albon, and Tsunoda, as they were all with us just before the pit stop. You can see now in the timing that Daniel Riccardo and Charles Leclerc are out of the race. Very wide there through turn 10, coming out of the exit of 9. Still losing traction going uphill. And these are the hard tires, so it may take about a lap and a half to 2 laps for them to fully reach temperature. You can see now they're about 170. So not too far off. Again, that is Zhou just in front of us.
You're running low on ERS. Reminder that you can play around with ERS modes in the MFD, or
He will be due for a pit stop.
onto the brake pedal for some manual recharge.
Getting around, you can see we're a little bit faster than him. There are the 2 Aston Martins behind, and then I believe that is the McLaren. Nope, not yet.
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
Exiting turn 15, you can see here that it continues to rain. We are now committed to this set of hard tires, which should be able to finish the race. And that is if it doesn't continue to rain as it is. On board with the show, and that is the number 66 coming around through turn 7. Again, it continues to rain, but it's having very little effect on the track right now.
Losing a lot of time to Hamilton.
That is Lewis Hamilton ahead of us. I believe when we exited the pits, he was 12 seconds ahead. Now he's 14 seconds. He is on a set of hard tires.
Weather report. Bike's now working.
Okay, the rain should be ending shortly, so we should see a dry line starting to form fairly rapidly, so make sure you cool your tyres down the straights. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
So everybody's on hards. I think Zhou is still on track with his first set of tires.
It looks like we're running on a dry track soon. Back to dry shortly.
And so it looks like he's going to continue on. And you can see here that he's getting passed by the Aston Martins. And I believe by the color of the helmet that may be Fernando Alonso. Yes, it is, looking at the timing.
I believe that is Alonso behind us. And just goes to show how much slower we're going.
So yes, he was able to catch up very quickly through this straight. And he may have had DRS on either Zhou or his teammate, Lance Stroll. Slowing down for turn 14 and 15. And you can see there that the moisture in the air is reduced just a little bit. The sky seems to be lightening. So that may be the end of the rain. Now the forecast did predict that the end of the race was going to be sunny and dry. There is our tire wear on the lower right of your screen. After about 6 laps, we are 2% wear in the rear and 1% in the front. And for now,
no more raindrops.
Wearing evenly. So here we are in the middle of the race here at Imola, running in the middle of the pack. And that may be due to our engine change. It's hard to tell. Again, the car is handling pretty well, but we were just not fast enough to be at the front of the race at the start. Our teammate is at the front with the same car, and I don't know if he had changed out of...
That's wrong.
His initial engine. But we did for this weekend, and again, that may be why we're a little bit slower. Riding with Fernando Alonso, he is going to have his DRS open. There we are. You can see in his rear view, his rear wing is open, and we're waiting to see here. He does get around the 66 through the main straight. Turn 2 and 3. Turn 4. So he is putting on a little bit of a distance to the number 66. Riding heavily over the curbs just to keep up with Fernando. And we want to be just under his wing at the DRS detection zone, which is going to be after turn 16. But here we don't want to lose him at any point. There we are, a little bit closer now through 13. And looking at the data on the steering wheel, we have about 23% of ERS available to us. That should go up a little bit more as we break through 16 and 17 and 18. And we're going to be using that to hopefully get around him through the main straight here to get our position back. There we are. We should be at DRS. And you can look at the rear wing. It is open. And here we're going to activate our ERS. You can see the speed difference. He's going to come on the inside and try to block the entry into turn 1 and 2. But we're just too fast, and we're going to get around him this time around. Turn 4. Turn 5 and 6.
Overdone it.
Okay, gap to the car ahead, 12.9 seconds.
And there is a secret into turn 6, and that is to turn very early as the car will drift to the left. Anyway, on board with Alonso again. He is very close to the 66. His teammate behind him by about 1.2 seconds. You can see there is no rain any longer. The track is dry. Riding over the curbs on 17 and 18. Again, you don't want to ride over the yellow parts of the curb. And you can see here that Fernando has got his rear wing open. But he's just not close enough coming into turn 2. However, his teammate, who also had DRS available, got closer to Fernando Alonso coming in through the straight. That fourth car that you see there is Pierre Gasly in the Alpine. And he's having a decent race so far. That is the McLaren, the fifth car behind. And that's going to be Oscar Piastri. So Imola has been a very difficult race so far, starting in the very back of the race. We are now riding in mid-pack, but we are not able to lose this group of cars behind us.
Okay, you're losing a small amount of time to the car behind. Let's keep
Yeah, my
pushing.
ERS is not building up.
Riding with Lance Stroll, we are battling with Fernando Alonso and the other Aston Martin, and you can see the struggles through there, through 3 and 4. And we expect him to try again.
Yeah, Fernando had a good run on
The
me.
underbody's taken some damage. You might start to notice it soon.
So there might have been a little bit of collision there with Fernando Alonso, and it damaged our underbody. The side pods have underbody extending out from underneath them, and if those are touched by the opponent's tires, it will certainly damage it. So on lap 38 we are still in 8th place, and we managed to keep that 8th place after the first round of pits for us, and it's in fact the only round of pits, as we are going to try to last the rest of the race with this set of the hard tires, and they'll certainly make it as long as no weather comes. Coming in to start lap 39 of 63. Don't forget to like and subscribe, it helps out our channel. And let us know what you think of the race. Coming in 3 and 4. Turn 5 to the left, turn 6 to the right.
So I'm seeing shadows. And I expect the sun is out.
So the sun has come out on lap 39 here at Imola. Again, we are riding mid-pack and we are trying desperately to lose this group of cars behind us. And the numbers keep building at this point. Coming over the crest on 16. This is turn 17. So everyone behind us has their DRS open. We do not have DRS available to us. There we are having a wide look at the track. You can see that we are now in full sun. Very wide there on the exit. And it's going to allow the other cars to get closer and closer. That is turn 7. And that may be either Fernando Alonso or Lance Stroll just behind us. And then behind them, the Alpine of Pierre Gasly, the McLaren of Oscar Piastri. But I believe one of those cars back there is the Haas. Again, the very high curves of 14 and 15. Still a lot of racing left. And here we're going to try to maintain our spot in the race. Starting lap 40, or ending lap 40 of 63. At the end of the straight, you can see the very faint sign of the proximity arrows of the cars behind us. Quick look back, and we have gained a little space. Again, the secret to turn 6 is to turn in very briskly right after turn 5. So again, if you're looking at the number 66, consider our setup for the race and submit what you think may be the reason why we're going a little bit slower and not able to get away from the cars behind us. Again, we started the 24 season as a front-runner team, and we have been very successful in the previous races with multiple wins already for the season, and right now the number 66 is leading the championship. But right now the other cars seem to be doing a little bit better than us, and we are doing everything we can to keep them back. You can see our train is building longer and longer as we add more laps to the race. We don't really seem to have a problem rounding the track, and we're able to keep the car on the track. We're actually able to brake very well. There is 14 and 15 again. across the start-finish line. This is the beginning of lap 43. You can see now that Hamilton and Perez have put a lot of time on us. So we're definitely going slower with this set of the hard tires. And we're doing everything we can to keep the cars behind us.
Okay, we're looking at some gearbox wear, so try to keep the number of shifts to a minimum, please.
And having a look at the lower right hand of the screen at our HUD, you can see that the gearbox is indicated in yellow. This is our first gearbox for the season, so there is at least 7 races on it so far.
Gearbox wear. Come on.
On board with Alonso, that is Lance Stroll, his teammate, just ahead of him. He must have gotten around at the pit straight using his DRS. Really one of the easiest places to pass here on this track. That is the number 66 just ahead. Very big slide there for Lance Stroll coming into 9. On board with the 66. Out of turn 18, Lance Stroll just under our wing. I'm pretty sure he's going to trying to make a pass here down the main straight. There we are, DRS open. And we are trying to keep him out of our tow, but there's really no best place here to be on the track. And we're going to just try to show him our wing. But he's going to get by into turn 2 and 3. Turn 4 here, and he's ahead already. Now, as we saw there, turn 12 and 13 was very well composed and easy to drive through, but in previous versions of this game, it's always been very slippery and very difficult to accelerate out. Again, with 2024, EA Sports has changed the handling model for the cars, and they have much better grip now, especially from accelerating. And here we are riding on board with Lance Stroll. The number 66 just comes under the wing to get by with his DRS open. And coming into 1 and 2, the number 66 is ahead. Turn 7 to the left. here we are at Imola, and nearing the end of the race, we are being challenged by Lance Stroll and the Aston Martin after changing our first engine. So certainly things have turned for the driving immersion team. Looking back now, you can see that
I don't
Oscar
understand how
Piastri
we're going so much slower.
has gotten around and is in 10th place behind a number 66. So he's gotten by the Alpine and Fernando Alonso. And now he's looking at Lance Stroll just ahead. The McLaren should be a faster car than the Aston
Like
Martin.
losing a second a lap.
So if he gets by, he's going to be able to give us a very good challenge. On board with Oscar Piastri on the McLaren. Again, riding the apron out of 15. Turn 16. Braking heavily downhill through 17 as it falls away. Turn 18 here, very important as we're going to accelerate out onto the straightest part of the track with the DRS available. You can see there that Lance Stroll has his rear wing open side by side with the 66, getting his wheels in front, challenging for turn 2, and they are going to be side by side, but Lance Stroll gets by. So here now, very difficult for the number 66. Trying to get by Lance Stroll once again. Very difficult again throughout the track as there's really not a very good spot to pass with a car that's just not as fast. So we have to wait for the DRS zone to come back, and we usually plan for the lap just to get back under the wing through turn 18 and 19. You can see there that riding very heavily onto the curbs of 14 and 15. We already indicate damage on our underbody. So coming out of 18 here, we are going to be just underneath Lance Stroll's wing. You can see we've got our DRS open, indicated by the 2 dots there on the very right of the steering wheel. So back around again. And again, turn 7. You can see there that Oscar Piastri has a very good jump out of the turn and has a look at Lance Stroll coming into 10. And meanwhile, while they're racing, the number 66 here is going to put a gap on them. Again, very heavy on the curb. Looking just behind, it looks like Oscar Piastri has gotten around. Yes, he did. And you can see here that he's got very good car placement, and he is able to get very close to the number 66.
How did Oscar get up to me so fast?
So it may be possible that our problem here at the Imola track is that we just don't have very good car placement. We did have 3 hours of practice, and we were actually not able to run a very fast lap, at least not faster than most of the other cars. So very possible car placement is the problem. However, we've run this track numerous times in multiple games, so we're very familiar with the formation of the track. But there's still the problem that we're not able to go as fast as the other cars. Again, I think the setup is very good. We did very well on in the speed trap.
Tire condition still looking good.
But we couldn't qualify very well, and you can see here that we are struggling with
gap to the car in front, 39.1 seconds.
We are struggling with the mid-pack teams. Having a look at the timing, you can see our teammate is still in the lead, just 5 seconds ahead of Lando Norris in the second or the first. McLaren, Max Verstappen again in the race in third place. And it's only in the last couple of races that he's been able to pretty much challenge up front. Early in the season, he was either mid-pack or didn't have very good results. Riding with Oscar Piastri in the McLaren. That is the number 66 just ahead in 8th place. We're going to have a look here. He's got his rear wing open.
Shit, we're low on fuel.
So on lap 52, we have a quick look at the steering wheel, and our fuel indicates that we are...
Right now we are at a deficit.
A deficit. So aside from racing with Oscar Piastri here in the McLaren, we're going to have to place consideration on our fuel, and again, that is to finish the race. So if we don't manage our fuel, we won't finish at all, but if we start to manage it, we're going to lose our place here. And you can see the other cars are all very close by, so we are going to quickly fall out of the points if we do anything to drastically manage our fuel. And I think what we're going to do here is we're just going to coast to the brake markers, and then we're going to shift up early just to avoid revving the engine higher. You can see here that we're already in 8th gear, but we're going to have to come up with a plan. At least right now at 0.08 it's still manageable. Here we are thumbing and fumbling through the settings.
Piastri's behind. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 16 laps old. And the time last lap, 1 minute 23.0. Okay, gap ahead, 43.1 seconds.
And I believe that report is the full race replay. We are on lap 53 of 63.
So we're getting the blue flag. But Oscar's still behind me. He's got to let them through.
We've got a lot of spare energy. Okay to use your overtake button.
So here comes a challenge, and another aspect is added. We've got a blue flag coming, and we're trying to look back. Oscar Piastri is in the orange car. The leader should be our teammate.
Okay, we've got 10 laps of fuel to go, 10 laps of fuel left. Blue flag. flag, blue flag.
So we are looking back.
There's nobody behind me.
We do see a white car, but he's still so far back. And riding here with Fernando Alonso, that is the 66, just ahead of him, and you can see here that Oscar Piastri lets him through. And
that's our teammate.
now that we look back, we can see our teammate. We're going to have to let him go through. I believe we have, I think, 5 or 6 turns to let somebody through after the blue flag, so it's critical that we let him through now before we get penalized. And you can see here that Oscar Piastri is trying to sneak in, and letting him through, or letting our teammate through, is going to allow Fernando Alonso to catch up. So our teammate has gotten through and he's speeding away. And coming in through 12 and 13, you can see there that Oscar Piastri has maintained his position over Fernando Alonso. And circling the track, you can see that the blue box is still flashing blue, which will indicate that another car should be coming through. And coming in through 18 and 19, we are still behind our teammate, and that may allow us to open up our DRS. Yes, it does. And that's going to allow us to catch right back up to him. You can see how fast we're going with the DRS open and using the ERS at the same time. So right now we are putting our efforts into staying in with Kamui Kobayashi in first place. We are 1 lap down now at this point, but if we can stay with him and use our DRS through the main straight, we may be able to put a distance on Oscar Piastri in the McLaren. At least if we can keep up with our teammate here. Very good tow coming into 17 and 18. But you can see the proximity arrow still showing there behind for Oscar Piastri. He should still be in the DRS, and looking at the timing, he is less than a second behind. We have our DRS open as a result of having our teammate in front. Again, we are 1 lap behind, but we can open our DRS, and you can see there that it brings us very close to him, getting a pull through the main straight. But also having DRS is Oscar Piastri in the McLaren. So having a look from above, you can see here the distance now that our teammate has put on us, and we are still racing with Oscar Piastri. And coming into 14 and 15, we're going to have to try to get back under his wing. Very high over the curve again. There we are, right back up to our teammate. We should have DRS available to us. And that line there is the detection zone. And there is the activation zone. We do have our rear wing open. And you can see the speed difference here as we catch back up to our teammate. But we're not going to try to pass him because he is in the lead, and we can actually unlap ourselves. But as we circle the track coming in through the turns, we'll start to receive the blue flag again. And at some point we'll have to let him through. And that is going to allow, again,
46.7 seconds.
Oscar Piastri a chance to get back around us once we let our teammate through. That's if we let him through. Turn 9 here to the left. Turn 10, very slight left-hander. Turn 14 and 15 again. The McLaren of Oscar Piastri is very close by. And there is the blue light box. If you had a look at the car behind Oscar Piastri, that is for the first McLaren, and that is Lando Norris in second place. So DRS open, you hear the beep, 2 lights there on the top right of the screen, or of the steering wheel. You can see the blue light box still flashing blue. Now, having a quick look back, we cannot tell if that is Lando Norris or Oscar Piastri. Having another look, you can see that one of the McLarens slows down very abruptly. So we expect that
So the first
at this
McLaren
point,
is coming through.
Oscar Piastri let Lando Norris through. And now we can be safe and secure in letting in the McLaren, as we know that it's going to be Lando Norris. Otherwise, it would be a very risky proposition to let a McLaren through, not knowing which one it is. There we are, having a look at the right helmet.
He's going to come up here and pass.
So right now we are waiting for the McLaren to pass through. We will run out of corners to let somebody through on the blue flag. And through 17 we are able to let him through. Very wide on the exit of 18. That's going to allow Oscar to get by. Down the main straight, we do not have DRS, as we were ahead of him through the DRS detection zone. So we're trying our best here to stay under his wing and get a draft. Coming into 2 and 3.
Oscar's a little faster than us.
We are just struggling to stay behind now. And you can see here that he's got about 5 or 6 car lengths ahead of us. And timing indicates that's just about 1 second. And we're going to have to make that up here before we get to the main straight, where we can use our DRS and our ERS at the same time to cover this distance. So right now we are looking at our braking points and trying to brake even deeper into the turns, and you can see there that we were very deep in the 12 and 13, and we had to drive on the apron and missed turn 13 altogether. And riding on the apron again out of turn 15, we're struggling to get under the wing or within DRS detection. Here we are coming into 17, and we are close now. Again, braking very heavily just to be within 1 second at this line right here. Again, a reminder to give us a like and subscribe if you're enjoying the race. Coming in through turn 2, we are side by side with Oscar Piastri, and we're not going to give up, and he's not going to give up, but somebody's got to go.
Tires don't have much grip. Maybe Oscar started on the set of hards. And right now he is fast.
Yes, at this point of the race, Oscar Piastri is on a set of mediums, and we are in a set of hards along with most other cars. So it's very possible that he may have had a very different pit strategy. So coming in through 14 and 15, nearing the end of the lap, we need to be under his wing just to get under the DRS zone as we exit 18 and come through 19. This is 16, and this is 17. And right now, fortunately, we look like we are within 1 second. Yes, we are. 0.47. So we should be able to activate our DRS. And we only have about 17% of ERS available. It looks like here that we're able to give him a challenge. And again, we are able to get around. So very fortunate for the number 66. And this time around, it's going to be up to Oscar Piastri to get around us. We lost the toe of the first and second place who have lapped us. So we're definitely going to be struggling here with Oscar Piastri. He's got a set of the mediums on, so he may possibly have more grip than us. However, if he did change into them before we changed into our hard tires, he's not going to have very much tire left. Hard to say actually, but we're going to have to watch how he does it circling the track.
So Lando is racing with our teammate for first place, just up ahead.
Those two cars just disappearing in the distance is first and second. And you can see that Lando has gotten very close to our teammate. Here we are riding with the other McLaren, Oscar Piastri, and he's going to have his DRS available to him. And we are looking at him through our proximity arrow, trying to close off
Okay, we've only got 1 lap of fuel remaining.
his pass here. And right now we're able to keep him behind. So, excuse the profanity once again, we are looking at our fuel gauge, and we are now in a deficit of 0.05 laps. So we are actually going to have to try to conserve here, trying to race with Oscar Piastri. And again, we're going to have to do that by lifting early and shifting up early, or short shifting, which is going to give him every opportunity to try to get around. We are on lap 62, and since we've been lapped, this may be the last lap that we have to circle. So coming in through 12 and 13, as we keep him behind, if we can just maintain this position.
Come on up
17
here.
and 18. So there is another blue flag as the light box has turned blue. That is for the Red Bull. That should be Max Verstappen. And you can see that Oscar Piastri had to let him through, and that's going to give us a little bit of distance over Oscar Piastri, but we're also going to have to let Verstappen through. There we go, coming in through 17. And now it's a drag race out of 18 between us and Oscar Piastri and the McLaren. And it looks like we're definitely ahead coming in through the start-finish line.
Okay, pick
and
up rubber and bring it home.
That is going to give us 8th place.
8th place and running out of fuel.
You can see there that we have a surplus of 0.01.
Well, we made driver of the day, but we've got to solve this problem with this engine.
And here he comes. It's all go, go, go for Lando Norris as he takes the checkered flag and wins.
Race win, fastest lap as well. So that
He took it over teammate.
And what a
Louis lost.
performance. They really showed a clean pair of heels
Lost
to
the
the rest
win.
of the opposition out there today. They had no answer for it.
Our winning drivers are on their way to the podium right now. It's been a fantastic race for McLaren, that's for sure. And no doubt, they'll be celebrating tonight.
So a very tough race here for the number 66 after multiple wins already in the season. Here we are in Imola with a new engine, and it was very slow throughout the race, but at least it's a points finishing race for us, and a very good result for our teammate Kamui Kobayashi, coming in 2nd place after taking pole. Again, if you've made it this far into the race, thanks for watching here at Driving Immersion. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps us reach other race fans like you, and don't forget to tell us what you think of the race. We'll see you again next time.
Formula One action very soon.